Pim. Okay. We are existing. Yeah. I finally hit that beautiful button that is go live. Yeah. Beautiful quality. What? Shut the fuck up. Why did I have sound on my phone? Sorry. You didn't see that, my bro. I mean, wow, amazing. I got surprised a little bit. Therefore, I had to release my my nervousness somehow. But well, that is not what has us here. Today I had to do things, and as always, I will do them while you are streaming, because why not? Why not do that while you also realize the things that are important for you? So yeah, we are basically today, the actual mood of this whole thing is specifically me doing, what was it? Timestamps and similar things in the streams. Why? Because I wanted to do them, and because I wanted to have them done more than anything else. As I noticed that I haven't done that in how much? I think it has already been another week that I spent not doing this, so I need to start working on this particular subject. So yeah, we are basically going to do it, and we are basically going to see how it all goes. But well, I might as well not really keep going over and over the same things, because YouTube Studio, there it is. Let me start working on this. I do not even know which was the last one I did. I think it was around when? I think it was. Nah, I don't have an idea. I hope it was like between. I would say. Let me see. No, I can't see the descriptions. This is so horrible. But well, I was going to say probably I did up to the 100th day or something like that. I am pretty sure I did it. But at the same time, I am not convinced to that being true. So what? I got copyrighted. No, I got copyrighted. What did I do? What? I got a restriction on a video. Finally, it happened. I just saw this and I didn't got any fucking notification. Okay, I got copyrighted, but it at the same time was allowed. So, oh my god. Okay, we're fine. We're not so bad. This isn't over yet. Wait, this hasn't been the only one that I got copyrighted. I just saw. I have at the very least 2 videos copyrighted. Fuck. This is the worst, my man. Shit. This is so over. This is so incredibly over. I mean, what I can do to remove these things. Well, I shouldn't even have the possibility of removing them. Shit. Anyways, aside from that, last video that I did, any description at all, was the 96th. Okay, let me start working from here then. Holy hope, you know? Well, in reality, I shouldn't be that worried today. Pertaining what I should or should not do. I haven't, aside from this particular thing that is doing the timestamps and such, I haven't tried to find not what to talk about. I said it on the Discord. I have like, well, I didn't say it. Sorry. I wrote it and I decided to scrap that idea more than anything else, because I was expecting to find something interesting in my mind to talk about, and the idea itself of not really wanting to talk about particular things is a subject that I still find an interest on. At the end of the day, I think for the sake of what we are going for here, I shouldn't limit myself to what I talk and what I do not talk about. Obviously, the main limitation will always be, so to speak, what I end up referring to, in the sense of if it is useful to what you are going for or not. But if, aside from that, I do not really limit what I am talking about and what not, I shouldn't really have that much of a problem. But well, I mean, at the same time, it is also a constant thing for me to water. For me to come here to try and see different topics that could have a base line of interest so that I end up touching on them, so to speak. But while that is true, it is also true, so to speak, that I tend to forget not my real. It isn't a responsibility to talk out certain things, but more so the necessity and the importance of really going over those things more than anything else, I would say. Because, as we kind of have already established, there are some things that are useful, there are some things that are not, and the most common part of this will always be if I accept what is useful and what is not useful, and work on those things particularly single-minded, I will give others, as I say, the tools that are really handy to have in mind and handy to comprehend and to have the possibility of whenever it is needed using. So in that same manner, I will say simply comprehending where I should start on and where I should really have my focus on would be really not only interesting, as I said, and also useful, but rather what would be something that basically also adds to this whole ordeal and ends up making it even more enjoyable. Because if you realize in this case that what I am doing has more potentially useful giving, so to speak, or more potentially interesting parts to it than to simply me being talking about not so interconnected ideas, it by itself I also give a more meaningful message, and as always, kind of, well, I think I haven't really talked about it, so we might as well move on to that. But at the end of the day, what really matters is the message, not the one who talks about it. So yeah, I guess I am really also trying to find something meaningful enough to say that by itself it becomes important. And well, in that same manner, as what I said, I also try to keep in mind constantly that idea of what matters the most is the message, not who talks about it. So in one sense, I refer to this idea as something very useful, because when you notice that who you are and what you are isn't really important, when you are trying to convey an idea and what only matters is the way the idea itself is conveyed, you find kind of a liberation from the necessity of being so intertwined with what you're representing and what you're going for, so to speak. It is kind of hard to say it properly, because I will even address it as in a manner where you kind of notice that because you are leaving behind so much worries about who is the one who's talking about the things, because you are doing that, you are kind of enhancing the message itself more than anything else, I would say, because you also start to accept that the main focus of things is the message, and the main part of everything is how you say things, not who you are and where does the message, well, in a sense, yes, where does the message come from is also important, but at the same time, where does that person found the message itself is not important, so to speak. So yes, it is in one hand interesting, and in the other, it feels kind of overwhelming, because to a certain, I don't think the message, in that particular idea itself, tries to convey the concept of nobody really matters. It only matters the ideas that they have. But in a sense, I prefer to see it from that perspective, because I don't think developing an ego that keeps you going for the sake of yourself is really useful. in this case, because as we can have already discussed, objective here, help others. Therefore, if the person who's trying to do this were to change and were to adapt to become more of a, what is it, self-centered objective, it will have not even less, but so to speak, to a certain point, an incredible amount of unresponsibility, because you are not doing the things that really matter. You are only focusing on the things that you already know are what you have an interest in. And I mean, in this particular case, we kind of already say that in a certain way we are trying to do it properly, because in the other hand, if you really were to do that, it shouldn't have any problem. At the end of the day, more than anything else, in this particular media, that is Twitch, being kind of meta as always, you have the possibility of doing whatever the fuck you want. Therefore, if you really were to enjoy your time and to leisurely be doing only things that give you entertainment, it shouldn't be bad. Well, yeah, it isn't that it shouldn't, it is not bad to do it. But personally, in my case, I try to keep in mind that it can always be entertaining to do things like this one, while also finding it itself useful. Because at the end of the day, as I said before, as long as you find a way to convey the ideas in a manner in which they are handy enough for everybody to grab them by themselves and not to have attached those ideas to the person, in this case, we could even say it will end up being more helpful to anybody who hears this to have from this point onwards the realization of, you know what, I can use anything that is told to me as long as I analyze the idea itself and not those who are talking about it. Because, I mean, in one perspective, this is kind of metaphysical, I think, because you can extract from anything. As long as you understand that basic concept, you can extract from anything useful tools. As long as you have in mind that what matters is the message, and what's not important is the one who talks about it. Because, in a sense, I would even say, if it weren't true, and not in the sense of possibilities, but rather in the sense of historical proofs, if it weren't true, we shouldn't have so many developments, because people have said things in the past, no matter who they were. For example, one of the main, I think, parts that matters the most is the example of those who were dictators and those who were very, very destructive humans in the past history of us, so to speak, because we accept that who they were was something completely bad to humanity itself, but at the same time, we tend to go back and to analyze what they were saying for the sake of having in mind and for the sake of really taking out of those particular individuals parts that might give them a little bit of redemption. Not because we want to redeem them, but rather because almost nobody has nothing interesting to say about nothing. It is, well, no, I will say, it is humanly impossible to not have at the very least one interesting idea. At the end of the day, what was it? I remember I saw somewhere. What? Thank you. What? No, I was interested. Sorry. Thank you for reading. But yes, welcome to my club. Yes. Well, then I don't know what will change out. I mean, I know. Let me go to this next thing then. Today, personally, I had an incredibly great sleep, and I was kind of amazed at how much I slept. It really shows. I think, in that sense, it gets kind of boring to repeat the same idea, but at the same time, if you do not keep it in mind, you kind of lose it because it is really interesting and it is really important to notice how much, as long as you are aware of the things that you are doing, you influence them in a manner in which they become better or worse. In this particular case, I try my best to have a great sleep, therefore I have a great sleep. It isn't that the act of sleeping itself will be better or will be worse, as long as you're not paying attention to it. In a sense, in this particular manner, I think it comes more than anything else from the realization and from the actual noticing of, you know what, if I really wanted to have a great sleep and if I really desire to have in my hands a great time, so to speak, getting rest basically, I will really try my best and I will really put my soul mind into this so that I can get the most out of it. And also, at the same time, in a sense, you need, in the particular case of sleeping, you need to accept that you will sleep because it is kind of weird to say it, but you kind of serve people who wants to sleep properly while at the same time they do not have a will to realize the act itself of sleeping. In this kind of people want to find ways in which they can sleep better while losing the most important part that pertains to sleeping, so to speak, in this case. So I would say it is rather useful to really try and to really be actively aware of your efforts for the sake of really having a great development towards those particular, as I said before, those particular things that pertain to who you are. So yes, I guess the simple act of really being willing to have a great sleep, and also, as I said before, the usage of important tools to also have, in this case, a great sleep ends up being, more than anything else, what causes to have the great sleep. It isn't that, or well, in a sense, yes, it is. If you are not aware of this, you will end up having days where you have a great sleep, and you will end up having days where you have very, very horrible sleeps, or not only sleeps, also dreams. Because, in a sense, for example, things that I forget to take into consideration in this case, if you, in your mind, live in a constant turmoil in which you cannot get and you cannot be at ease about the things that happen throughout your day, when you go to sleep and you haven't realized this as something that really impacts also on your dreams, you will constantly end up having worries that end up transforming into nightmares. Because, in a sense, one of the biggest reflections in our daily lives is what happens ends up becoming parts of the dreams that you have. Therefore, if you do not take care of the worries that you carry around your day and the worries that are important to you, because whatever reason it is, if you do not take care of them, and you go to sleep, you cannot expect to have a great sleep. You cannot really try to have a good night and comforting night more than anything else, because, as I said before, you are not paying attention to what really matters, and you are almost foregoing your responsibility of having a good sleep, because in the same manner, kind of the same message in a different way, having a great sleep is solely in your hands. If you are not paying attention to that, you are kind of not in the wrong path, so to speak, but rather you are foregoing things that might as well be more important than what at first sight you perceive as being important or not. So yeah, basically that's what I wanted to say. Take care, take precious care and take conscious care about the things that you really want to go well. Nobody should really expect things to go well as long as they are not working on them. And well, I mean, in that same manner, I guess I am moving to the next thing, that is also still finding a way to properly say it. Because when I say you need to take care of things in a manner in which you really understand them, it feels as if you were, so to speak, dropping the ball on the other side. And at the end of the day, it never is responsible to only say and to only address problems and to only give the other side, so to speak, the realization of their faults. While you could also give them an encouragement of, so to speak, in this case it will be, for example, it isn't that you need to take care of your sleep because it is a responsibility. It is rather because if you already sometimes have the possibility of really enjoying sleep, when you find that it is also in your hands, almost 98% of what the act itself of sleeping is, when you find those things to also be true, you start to realize how incredibly satisfying it could become as long as you actively try to hunt for that, and as long as you also, so to speak, consciously try to go for those things in your life, because you cannot expect them to change if you're not, so to speak, actively going for them. As I said before, let me see. I have it here. Yeah, change the actions to change the outcome. Basically, you cannot expect things to change if you're not changing them you yourself. Therefore, well, wait, no, it is kind of the same thing, or it is kind of the same message there. You can really change whatever is happening as long as you try to go for it. And you can make things that are already great so incredibly better. You yourself, from the actual now, would be surprised with what in the future ended up becoming of those things. So yeah, that is kind of the take, basically. Not other things, and not a more brain scatter take, but rather that if you really notice and if you really actively try to hunt for an enjoyment on the things that pertain and that end up being part of you, you will, not always, but probably in the constant day-to-day, find that things end up being more rewarding than what you ever expected. So yes, that is the take itself, nothing else. What the... I guess basically that. Well, at the same time, moving to the next thing, I am still analyzing this concept. I wanted to talk about it with someone, but at the same time, I do not really feel like going for it with someone else, because it feels like, as I said before, what matters is the message, not who delivered it, and I myself cannot, not completely, but at the very least have that idea in mind, and I am not surrounded by, in my day-to-day life, I mean, by friends or family who know this concept and who could apply it, not properly, but rather consciously, because they tend to disregard a lot of things because who said them is more important to them than what the message itself is. And in this case, I wouldn't even worry about who said this as long as you could take something out of it. Because the message itself is, you should always try to be not better, but to be more active in your communities, so to speak. Because that is what ends up making the community itself better, not the act of you being better. Because you find how you want to act, and sometimes doing not the right things ends up benefiting the whole community in a sense, but itself, the actions that you take more actively end up making that specific community greater, and in that same sense, if you really understand in this case that you yourself have the possibility, kind of as I said before, always making it even more enjoyable for everybody, in this case in the community, you could kind of say, you know what, this place is more enjoyable than anything else because I use my own efforts on this, and I have my mind focused on making it as enjoyable as I can for every single individual. Because in this particular manner, the message itself also talk about the idea of communities should try to be as open as possible. If you really are close in your community, you might as well be committing an error. At the end of the day, the main purpose of a community should be to help others, or the higher purpose should be. It isn't that it is bad to not do that, but as kind of what I said before, it is more rewarding to do it than to take other courses of action. At the end of the day, in this particular manner, we could also add the idea of what you do ends up leaking into your reality, and what you are actively going for also leaks in who you are. So if you do not pay attention to those parts, and if you do not have in mind how incredibly great those things affect you might as well be committing an error because you're disregarding something that is really, in this case, meaningful. You cannot only focus on an individual, or not only on one individual or two or five or 10. You need to constantly be aware about the wholeness of it, and you need, so to speak, to work with everyone. That's it, okay. And in a sense, the message itself tries to convey the idea of you need to be in touch with everyone as much as you can, because that is also what makes the community itself stronger. In this case, I would say it from a psychological point of view, because you end up having those positive reinforcements in which, because you did something that someone enjoyed, you also kind of encourage that same pattern of actions to be taken by others. Therefore, when you show in a community that you enjoy being there and you also enjoy taking care of others, you show not only to yourself but those who are besides you the reality itself of, you know what, this can also be something that you can do. We are not going in this particular place to get angry at you because you kind of overstepped your places and kind of forgot who you are and what things are pertaining to you, when in reality, in this sense, more than anything else, what matters is comprehending what really ends up making the community itself better. That is, to show others interest, and in this case, as long as you're showing it, others would also reciprocate, I would say. So yes, basically that, I guess. And also, I kind of prefer to stop there because I was already going kind of crazy with that particular idea. So next thing, basically. let me drink water before that. Well, I spilled water. What? Didn't I spill what? What? I didn't spill water. It didn't happen. I'm going crazy. Here it is. Here it was. Fuck. Yes, because I need to. There it is. Beautiful. Now, going back to what the fuck I was thinking. I mean, well, yeah. Basically that. Next interest for me to analyze. Why can't we use insults? Why is it bad to use them? At the end of the day, I kind of learned. Supposedly, the way that insults works in the brain is it kind of signals and flares in the brain, specifically the same things that are activated when you sense a threat, so to speak. So insults are almost the most basic thing, or most basic way in which we communicate to each other in a rather direct manner things that are worrisome. But at the same time, I guess. Okay. I guess understanding what insults are and how to use them properly is very useful, more than anything else, because when you consciously notice how they work in the brain, you also understand that, so to speak, overloading your whole message with them ends up being hurtful more than anything else, because when you really distract yourself from the reality that is of being in a constant state of not panic but rather heightened awareness about possible problems, ends up not being only damaging to you and those who are around you, but also in the long run to those who might come in contact with you, because you tend to give to others the predisposition of being constantly, so to speak, in this case, alert about things, when in reality, I would say, uh, as always, more than anything else, it pertains to the reality itself of the individuals, but almost everybody who's hearing this right now shouldn't have the necessity of constantly throughout their days use insults. At the same time, it is also true that, for example, one of the best uses, when you understand this, is an insult might be incredibly handy because, in an argumentative way, you can very clearly show others what things are really worrying and what things are really in a need of change. In one hand, and in the other, also, if you yourself find your own person, so to speak, in an ambient where you really need to pay attention to the things that are happening to you, you might as well also start working, so to speak, in those same errors, or not errors, those same things that are worrisome in a more active way, because you have in your own hands the signaling of, okay, this is really worrisome, and not only for you, but also for those who are around you. But at the same time, an insult, I would say, is a more primal key for the same thing that could be achieved with better descriptions that comes from the individuals themselves, as long as they understand what they are really describing. At the end of the day, if you feel that something is threatening, but you cannot address what it is the threat itself, you, in a sense, don't completely understand what you're saying. In one hand, but in the other, if you comprehend what the problems are and well, you should try to work with the things that are, so to speak, so worrisome for you, you also start perceiving and start being more aware, as we kind of said before, what the problem is and how you can solve it, so that it stops being a problem and rather it just was a thing of the past that you already worked on. So yes, I guess basically that is, in a sense, it becomes important to know how insults constantly flooding your own mind more than anything else, because it hurts you as an individual. In this case, sorry, it hurts you as an individual because you end up being in a constant state of panic, when in reality, almost nobody has the necessity of being in such a state. And even if you were in a need of being in something like that, reducing the amount of those in your daily life ends up, even if it is needed, being more helpful, because you have more times in which you can be at ease, so to speak, even if it is needed for you to be in states of panic sometimes. No thing needs to be 24/7, so to speak, in alert about what is happening around them. So yeah, basically that also. But well, I guess that is weird. That is weird. Hello, Rosman. Hello, welcome. Welcome, Rosman. Yes, we're pondering today. We're literally only pondering, nothing else. So welcome. Well, what the fuck I was? I kind of got lost. I was on. Well, no, in reality I was moving to something else, because I had already talked more than enough about what I wanted. But well, it isn't that I talked more than enough. I just wanted to clarify it in my own head, and I did so finally. So yeah, moving to the next thing will be, I guess, wait, what? It will be Tuesday. It will be Tuesday. What? Where do you live, my man? And also, hello, Masbrock. Well, what? That is an emoji. What is that? El colon. El what? What? Colon has new. Oh no, Colon has new emotes. Amazing. But also, hello as well. I I don't know where you are from, Rosman. I don't know why. Why do you have such a difference in time with the rest of the world? I could try to guess, but I will do. I will. We live in Japan. What? Literally a random guess. But yeah, welcome. I guess it is not that late where you live. If it is only to be Tuesday, so I hope you have a nice stay here as always. So far, we haven't pondered about it. So as always, if you have any question you would like to ponder about with the potato, you might as well present it, because actual goal with the things is literally I am only thinking about things that come to my mind rather than to work on anything in particular. I work on the ideas that are presented themselves, yes, but at the same time, I have literally no problem in doing anything else. At the same time, oh, well, yeah, something, for example, that I wanted to talk about was, wait, what? No, yeah, no, do not tell me, do not tell me that it was, oh, no, fuck, it wasn't complete. We are at 19k. This is amazing. This is beautiful. This is incredible. We are so close to completing, yet we haven't completed it. But well, at the end of the day, this particular thing is amazing to see that it almost took so long, man. While at the same time, well, I mean, wait, can we? Can we? Because I think this thing is kind of weird. If I'm not wrong, it limits the amount of contributions that you can do every single time. I don't even have a reason as to why it does that. Okay, I myself as the streamer I can't contribute, so haha. But I think it also limits people to not contribute more than 10% every single day. So that is also why I find it kind of worrisome. I mean, it would be very funny to create a new community challenge and fulfill the requirements in such a short time, you know? But well, it isn't me who decides how Twitch works, so happiness. No, wait, what? That's a lie. That was a complete lie. We literally had more than 10%, so I don't know. Whatever. Aside from that, as I said before, if we have something that we want to discuss, present it to me, we will analyze it. If not, let me move on to the next thing that was in a second because I lost the idea. But I have it here. Yes, there it was. I have, as I said before, I kind of went over the possibility of enjoying the act of smiling. We kind of discussed it. I think it was the last week already, and it was very amazing to see. For the last, I will say, the last week I have been trying actively to smile as much as I can, and it really gives more than what anybody could ever expect to get out of it. I said it before that it feels incredibly great to have it actively working on your mind, and at the same time, in this particular case, I can also kind of see that it is incredibly beneficial. I haven't found a way to convey the importance of smiling more, I would say, but I am still trying to find it, and more than anything else, trying to give it a reason as to why anybody should try to simply smile more. I guess in my particular case, trying to analyze it and trying to find something that could be interesting for others to take out of that experience. When you really focus yourself on smiling, and when you really place your mind in doing that, you kind of start feeling an incredible amount of relief that no similar actions could give you, so to speak, and that no similar thing could really simply by doing such a simple act endow in yourself, so to speak. So I guess the most important way or the most important part of this is, as long as you, I wanna say, even if you feel like it, almost everybody who hasn't tried to smile more for the sake of it should try it. I guess Yeah, in this case, such an action has such an effect so incredibly useful in the mind that you end up being amazed at how much you extract from that specific simple thing that by other that almost nothing else can equal in the realm of efforts. But at the same time, it also is impossible to completely prove to anybody how useful or not it is if you yourself haven't tried it. So the other side of this is you will not lose anything if you try it. You will only almost no, sorry. Every single human has time throughout their days to simply smile, to simply realize the action of smiling. So when you have the times and you have the time slots, you should try this because if you think it works literally nothing, you can prove everyone wrong by doing it. And you can prove that whatever they are saying is completely bullshit because you tried it and you yourself found that it has no reward at all to simply realize such an action that in your mind you already know, so to speak, has or shouldn't be in any way rewarding. So yes, basically that in this case. The act itself and the realization that you can also prove others wrong by simply doing what they are telling you will also give you such a reward because you will notice how incredibly useless it is that you will find yourself really immersed in that action for the sake of, as I said before, proving others wrong. So yes, very weird concept, I would say, more than anything else in this particular case, because what I said before was kind of a lie. Even if you try it actively and even if you use the most amount of your time in constantly trying to not realize or not feel, so to speak, how much good it could give you, even if those things are true, it is also true that what ends up being bestowed on you, regardless of the way that you think about such an action, is so incredible. I wouldn't say you will create the habit itself, because habits also come from other things. I would say in this particular case, you will only create in you the notion that smiling more will end up being more useful, yes. But if you do not find a real reason as to why you will need that boost of your overall performance through life, you will still avoid it. So yes, it only is a tool and you also need a way to use it properly. So I guess that is also why in this particular case I am trying to find a solution for that problem. Because at the end of the day, as I said before, even if you approach it with a completely agnostic approach, yeah, kind of approach, even if you approach it from a completely agnostic point of view, where you know, or where you kind of are fully convinced that it will not work, and you find the fruits of your efforts be rewarded in such an incredible way, even if that is true, if you have no use for that happiness and if you have no use for that increase, so to speak, satisfaction throughout the day, even if you have those things, you still will not find it useful. Because yes, it might happen that you will have a boost on your mood, so to speak, but if you yourself are so down in a hole, I would say, of a depressed mind where you think there is no real need to work on this particular progress and where there is no real need of getting this or to having this added to your daily life, why would you in any case try to make it something that is, so to speak, adapted to your behaviors or to your daily behaviors? So yes, basically the next part is basically finding a reason as to why anybody should do it. Because at the same time, it is satisfactory, yes, but satisfaction for the sake of it is something that we tend to not seek. So, give me a second. Okay, I think a good way to say it would be because you notice that your whole existence is lessened, or becomes more enjoyable for yourself, you also start to see and you also start to be aware as to how much you can constantly make it even better in this particular case. And that is why in this, as I said before, in this case, as long as you also integrate this in your daily life, you will have an easier time, because having a more cheerful view on things will never harm you. And if you think that, you should at the very least try how it feels, and you should at the very least try to be someone who reacts more in that sense. As long as you have those tools, you will start seeing changes in yourself that even the present you might not even, so to speak, figure, or so to speak, also be able to comprehend. Because if you constantly do it, you also, it isn't that you become better, it is that you yourself transform in a way which, as I said before, you cannot fathom right now. So yes, basically that. I guess that is another idea. So mind work, mind loops, mind. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I kind of. It isn't that I ran out of things to speak about, but rather it is that I feel that's it for right now. I wanted okay, into more mundane things. I wanted to have Harata reading, and I also wanted to do another list today. So that is why in this particular case I started stream kind of early, because I wanted to go for the 3 streams. I will constantly, yeah. I will try my best to have 3 streams to these upcoming days. So yeah, we will see how that goes. I don't completely hope for that to happen, because I kind of know that I don't have that possibility on me at its highest. More than anything else, because as I have said before, I kind of know my hectic schedules, so I kind of accept that sometimes I won't even have that real possibility. But well, we are going to see. More than anything else, we are going to try for that to become a reality. So yes, happiness, complete happiness over whatever is happening right now, and complete enjoyment over the realities which we live in. Because yes, if you're happy, you have a better life. And well, I mean, fuck, I even thought about it. Well, I think it is important to say it, at the very least, to also add it to my mental list about why smiling more and being more happy ends up being important. Because also something very primordial of being happy is your whole body functions better as long as you focus on being happy, and as long as you consciously try your best to be happy. Not because in a kind of hippie way, you're happy, therefore you see things better and you have an easier life. No. On the literal, so to speak, biological sense, when you're happy, your whole endocrine system, your whole digestive system, your whole, what was it, your whole immune, autoimmune, your, what is it, give me a second, because I need to search for this description. Give me a second. It can't be immunitary system. It is immune system. It is what? It was so simple. Fuck. Well, anyways, then your whole immune system also works better, because I don't remember the biological side of as to why being happier. I think it has to do with how your whole body processes things. When you have a happier time, I think it had to deal with the whole reality of your depression also affects the way your cells work, and when you let depression be a central part of your life, you also start hurting it, in a sense, yourself. It isn't that you completely destroy who you are and you completely leave behind who you really are trying to become, but rather it is that you try your best and you might not achieve it completely. But when you actively encouraging yourself happier times and a more cheerful existence, your whole body starts to synchronize with that idea and also notices how much you are willing to put the work into, as I said before, having by itself a happier existence. So that is why, in this particular case, it is also important to try it, because if you realize that your time existing basically could be even better than what it is right now, by simply, in this case, smiling, by simply doing that, you will also see how incredibly beneficial it is for you. And what society the other side is always, it isn't a reprimand and it is bad. It isn't bad that you are doing, that you are not smiling more. It is rather another tool that you find in life, and it is another thing that you can integrate for it to be easier for you. So yes, I guess that is a kind of a way to say it. I think we will put it to test later on. Now for real, we are done here. sorry for taking so long, but I guess more than anything else, the importance of being here is always trying to find things to analyze and trying to actively hunt ideas and to hunt concepts that end up, as I said before, giving people an easier time existing. Because if you somehow decided that your time should be spent going through hardships in life that end up destroying who you are and end up drying you out of every single ounce of energy that you possess, you might as well be only making it harder for you without any real reason at all, when, as I said before, you always also have the possibility of making it as swift as possible. And I mean, it is also important to say it, because if you tend to only say, you can have an easier time, it isn't a reprimand. The same with, if you smile more, you will have a better health overall. It isn't that it is a reprimand, it is only a notion that if you have it, you can integrate it in your life. And if you do not comprehend how that might be useful for you, you might be, so to speak, harming your own efforts. At the end of the day, as long as you have an objective, you also have a necessity and a desire to strive for that objective. Therefore, you should kind of always try to make it an easier thing for you to act upon, so to speak. So basically that, I think that is a good way to finish this. I think, I am not completely sure, I am not completely, so to speak, yeah, I am not completely conscious about what I am saying in this case, more than anything else, because I think I am trying to see what could be useful to have in mind itself. So yes, as always, leaving that behind, that whole shyness, thanks for everything, thanks for your time, thanks for lurking, thanks for watching the work, thanks for whatever you did. The act itself of paying attention to this is what really means a lot, because itself really shows that you are engaged in this, and it also gives me hope, because what is the thing we are going for here the most is trying to give others also tools, as I said before. So yes, thanks for everything. Thanks. Today it was Mosbrook, Puma Diab, also Rosebone. So yes, thanks for every single thing, and also because they really matter as equal. Thanks, dear lurkers and dear bot watchers. It isn't that I forget about you, it is simply that I do not have your names to pronounce here in this case. So I only forget about you because I can't do it. And I can't name you if I do not have a tangible name. But yes, now let us get out of here in this particular case with watching some Erax streaming. I think he was doing a skit, so I don't know. We will see what happens in the future. Basically, we're going to raid or friend Erax, who is playing what is this game name? Yeah, Elden Ring. Elden Ring, wow. So yes, as always, thanks for every single thing. We shall depart until we decide to come together once again to keep pondering on life and to keep finding tools that end up being helpful for us ourselves. Now, that's it for today. Thanks, and as always, take care of yourself. Eh? No. As always, thanks you for paying attention. That is what brings the most important thing. If you find something interesting here, it is incredibly good for you. As I said before, it is only in your hands to solve your own problems, and it is only in your own realization of the things that you need to work on that you start being conscious about them. So, if you found anything useful at all, thank you. Thank you. Whoever you are hearing this, be it Masbrog, be it Brospoon, be it whoever it is, thanks you. Now, for real, we depart. Thanks. As I said before, we shall find each other in the future when time comes and when we have another things to discuss. That's it for today. No, wait. Give me a second. That over there, and also that over there it is. I just wanted to copy the rail, and also I take some time to chill myself. Now we're really going.